On the 21st of November 2024, the world watched as Russia showed off a new weapon, the Oreshnik ballistic missile. This launch, aimed at the Ukrainian city of Dnipro, wasn't just another attack in the ongoing war. It was a show of military power, a signal that Russia wanted to be seen as strong on the world stage. The Oreshnik, named after the common hazel tree, quickly became a hot topic among military experts, politicians, and people around the world, all worried about this new threat. The immediate impact of the Oreshnik launch was clear. The attack on Dnipro, a city already hurt by war, showed that Russia was willing to make the fighting worse. This wasn't just symbolic, it was a real display of Russia's growing military power, a clear message that the Kremlin would use its most advanced weapons to get what it wanted. The timing of the launch during a time of high tension between Russia and the West made it even more important. It reminded everyone of the dangerous world situation and the constant threat of things getting worse. As the dust settled and the world started to understand what this new weapon meant, one thing was obvious: the Oreshnik had changed the rules of the game. The Oreshnik ballistic missile isn't just a small improvement on older Russian weapons. It's a big jump in missile technology, with advanced features that make it different. The Oreshnik is a medium-range ballistic missile meant to hit targets far away, but it's the missile's special abilities that have caught the attention of defense experts everywhere. One of the scariest things about the Oreshnik is that it can reportedly carry multiple warheads, each aimed at a different target. This means one missile can hit many places at once, making it much more destructive. Imagine one missile hitting several important buildings, military bases, or even city blocks at the same time. That's the scary reality of the Oreshnik. Early reports also say each warhead can then release smaller bombs, making the missile even more destructive. These smaller bombs spread over a wide area and are good at hitting targets like airfields, groups of soldiers, or factories. The combination of multiple warheads and smaller bombs makes the Oreshnik a very dangerous weapon, capable of causing a lot of damage. Besides its destructive power, the Oreshnik's most important feature is its speed. It's thought to be hypersonic, meaning it can travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound, maybe even 11 times. That's incredibly fast and makes the Oreshnik very hard to stop because it gives missile defense systems very little time to react. It's also said to be able to change direction in mid-air. Unlike normal ballistic missiles, which follow a predictable path, the Oreshnik can reportedly adjust its course. This makes it even harder for radar to track and for missile defense systems to target it. Being both very fast and able to change direction makes the Oreshnik a nightmare for any country facing it. Current missile defense systems designed for older missiles aren't built to handle something this fast and agile. This raises serious worries about how countries can protect themselves from these new hypersonic weapons. The arrival of the Oreshnik missile has worried many countries, especially those in NATO and Ukraine. The missile's range, thought to be between 500 and 5,500 kilometers, puts a large part of Europe in danger. This, along with its advanced features, has raised concerns about Russia's plans and the chance of a bigger war. Many experts think the Oreshnik launch isn't just a show of force, but a message to NATO. By showing off such a powerful weapon, Russia is showing its anger at NATO's support for Ukraine and its willingness to take strong action to stop the West from getting more involved. The message seems to be, keep supporting Ukraine, and there will be serious consequences. The Oreshnik also changes things for the war in Ukraine. Its ability to hit targets deep inside Ukraine, along with its power to get past air defenses, is a big problem for Ukrainian forces. It also makes people worry that Russia might make the war worse, perhaps by attacking important buildings or cities to try and win quickly. Section 5. The Oreshnik and the nuclear question. What makes the Oreshnik even more complicated is that it can carry both normal and nuclear warheads, giving Russia different ways to use it. While the attack on Dnipro used normal warheads, the possibility of a nuclear-armed Oreshnik is a big worry. Russia's rules about nuclear weapons, which say they could be used if Russia is attacked with either nuclear or conventional weapons, make this worry even bigger, even though the Kremlin has said the Oreshnik's nuclear capability isn't a big deal. The mere thought of it has scared Western leaders. The fact that the Oreshnik could carry nuclear weapons has started new discussions about updating nuclear weapons and the need for agreements to control them. It has also led to calls for more spending on missile defense systems that can stop hypersonic weapons like the Oreshnik. The possibility of nuclear war, which people thought was a thing of the past, is now a worry again. Section 6. International reactions, a chorus of concern. News of the Oreshnik launch caused a mix of disapproval and fear around the world. Western governments quickly spoke out against it, worried about how it could make the region less stable. NATO's leader Jens Stoltenberg called the launch reckless and dangerous, and US President Joe Biden said it was a threat to world peace. The United Nations Security Council held an urgent meeting, but like other talks about the war in Ukraine, it ended without an agreement because Russia can veto anything as a permanent member. This shows how hard it is to deal with such a difficult and sensitive problem. Besides official statements, the Oreshnik launch has caused a lot of discussion among defense experts, academics and politicians. Some say the missile changes everything about modern war, forcing countries to rethink their military plans. Others say we shouldn't overreact and should respond carefully to avoid making things worse. Section 7. The propaganda war shaping the narrative. After the Oreshnik launch, a propaganda war started, with Russia and the West both trying to control what people think about the new weapon. Russian state media praised the Oreshnik as a great achievement, a symbol of Russia's growing military power. They said the missile was for defense, a necessary response to NATO expanding closer to Russia and threatening its safety. Vladimir Putin himself talked about the Oreshnik, saying it was developed because of the West's aggressive actions and attempts to hold Russia back. He warned that any challenge to Russia's security would be met with a quick and strong response, suggesting the Oreshnik was just one of many weapons Russia had. Western media, however, were more cautious, focusing on the Oreshnik's potential to cause instability and the risk to European security. They accused Russia of threatening to use nuclear weapons to scare its neighbors and break international rules. These different viewpoints show the deep mistrust between Russia and the West. Section 8. The Oreshnik's place in modern warfare. The Oreshnik has started new discussions about how war is changing and the problems caused by hypersonic weapons. Its speed, ability to change direction, and destructive power make it a very dangerous weapon that can get past current missile defenses and cause a lot of damage. The Oreshnik shows how important hypersonic weapons are becoming. These weapons, which can travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound, are a big problem for normal air defense systems, which were designed for older, slower missiles. This has caused major military powers to rush to develop their own hypersonic weapons and defenses, leading to a new arms race that could make the world less safe. The Oreshnik also shows how deterrence is changing in the 21st century. With hypersonic weapons and cyber warfare, the old idea of deterrence based on mutually assured destruction is being questioned. The speed and unpredictability of these new weapons make it harder to maintain a stable balance of power, increasing the risk of mistakes and escalation. Section 9. A new era of uncertainty. The Oreshnik missile reminds us of the dangerous world we live in and the constant threat of war. It has created a new time of uncertainty, forcing countries to rethink their security and adapt to the changing nature of war. The world must now deal with the problems posed by hypersonic weapons, finding ways to reduce the risks of escalation and maintain stability. The Oreshnik launch has also shown the weaknesses of current arms control agreements, many of which are outdated and don't deal with the challenges of modern weapons. The world needs to talk again about arms control, trying to create new rules and agreements that reflect today's security situation. The way forward is difficult, but talking, diplomacy, and working together are the best ways to deal with this uncertain time. The risks are too high to let mistrust, mistakes, or uncontrolled technological advances decide what happens. The future of global security might depend on it.